Welcome back to another edition of The Political Beat, which I've stumbled over recently. I'm Pat Maloney. This is Chip Martin. We cover City Hall for the London Free Press and lfpress.com. Been told by a viewer who shall remain nameless that people are getting tired of us. So who knows? Maybe this could be one of our last videos. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Well,
so we better clean up our game.
Well, we're tired of each other, so that's
right.
all part of it.
Okay, not a lot going on at City Hall just at the moment, although we are in the throes of the budget process, but it's still relatively early. Council meeting this week, which one councillor said this could be the most boring meeting we've ever had, which I don't mind so much. A little bit of a lull in the hubbub over there is okay. Only issue that I think would be worth talking about today that came up there was the new logo for Canada's London, which is a marketing push to coincide with March's World Figure Skating Championship, which is going to be an amazing, gigantic, hugely successful event, I don't doubt, and is great for the city to have.
Is this what you're talking about, Patrick?
That is indeed the logo.
This is the logo for what?
This is the logo that this City Hall has got together with a whole bunch of taxpayer-funded groups like Tourism London, I believe, and the LEDC to brand the city with this logo during that week when there's going to be, you know, some 300 international media members here. And
so this was a branding for 1 week?
Yes.
And this cost how much for 1 week?
The price tag is approximately $200,000.
And this was, of course, planned long ago.
No, this is coming. I guess close to the last minute, isn't it?
Yes.
So
let me see if we get this right. $200,000.
Correct.
For 1 week.
Yep.
For this logo.
Well, and all the branding that will be built around it, the signage, the banners, and all that stuff.
Coffee cups, serviettes.
Well, there are going to be city
pins,
items.
Pins.
I don't know about pins, but there's going to be things for people to buy that will have the logo on it. There'll be signs. Basically, you'll see this logo all over the place. But council voted against the plan, saying it's unnecessary. We don't like the logo. Then they voted for it with a few tweaks. We asked some Londoners what they thought about the logo. So here's a few of their thoughts now.
The fact that they're taking money out of the budget for like transit and low-income housing really bothers me, and the fact that we're putting so much money into this instead of things like that can really help the city, I really think it's ridiculous.
I think it's a lot of money, but the way I see it, a lot of people watching all over the world would not know the difference between London, Ontario and London, England.
I think Canada's London makes it sound kind of like we have some sort of inferiority complex to the other London.
I think if they spent $200,000 doing a logo, I'd shoot somebody, but they didn't. They spent $200,000, and that's to get bus boards and probably ads in the Free Press.
Do you think it'll be effective?
For figure skating, no.
So obviously, you know, you're going to get some people who like it, some people who don't like it.
Now, you don't like it, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not crazy about it. I don't.
What? Okay, first of all, I don't like the fact they want $200,000 for a branding exercise for 1 week, and it's a last minute.
It could be more than that, but it's.
There's been $3.5 million or almost $4 million spent
on
the city
various and sundry
for the figure skating championship.
Yeah, okay. Road repairs and things
the
like
last
that.
minute they come in with this for $200,000.
Correct.
Now, I understand you don't like the design.
I don't like the color scheme. I don't like the way that London is written. I just kind of don't like it. Harold Usher's point was international visitors, and there will be scores of them, will not recognize the maple leaf as a replacement for the O. Hold on. And I actually think he has a point there. So council voted against all this, but then said, why don't we just put a little circle around the maple leaf? Oh, and we like it now. And that was enough to sway enough councillors to vote in favor of the $200,000 push, which, by the way, half's coming from a surplus from last year, like money that didn't get spent last year, and half's coming from those agencies I'd mentioned.
Horse feathers.
Right.
I like the design.
Okay.
And I don't know what Harold Usher's credentials are as a graphic artist or a professional communicator.
Yes.
He has a tendency to use the word sensational more than any human being should. However, I don't know about his communicating skills, and quite frankly, I like the design. Ironically, I don't like the fact of $200,000 at the last minute for 1 week worth of branding. But I like the design because the flag is an O. Everybody can see that.
Right, but does that look like a D to you?
Yes,
like,
it does. Did you see the logos and stuff for the Olympics in London?
I didn't like those either.
London, England. Awful. It was backwards and it was funny. I think this is attractive. Now, while saying that, I don't know. I think it's crazy to spend $200,000 for 1 week worth of branding when we have perfectly good logos available. And I go back to my municipal handbook here, and we've got that very lovely.
What year is that from?
1992. The last year they had it.
That's when I was in grade 9.
And this is the old tree. It says London, Ontario, Canada. That's quite nice.
That's a good logo.
And then also they retired this logo, which is the coat of arms, which has the little choo-choo train on top.
Oh yeah, I like that.
And quite frankly, I think this is very symbolic and important to London because the choo-choo train made London. Until the choo-choo train came, a place called Kilworth, which you may know is just west of the city, was actually larger than London.
Is that right?
But what happened is the train came to London and didn't go to Kilworth. And today, what do you see in Kilworth? Not too much.
Right.
Not too much. But London became a city because of the train.
Right. But
the train did more for London than the figure skating or any of these other ideas they have in terms of promoting the city.
I think I get your point. I would be more interested in the existing city logo, which is. I think Morris will be able to get the graphic up here. It's it's a little staid and it's a little corporate. I think that's the point that's what they're trying to get away from.
But I like it. It, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I like it. I really like that logo. I think it looks good, and I think that could work. Anyway, long story short, they're going to go ahead with this campaign. I don't like the logo. I understand the point that councillors should not be sitting there saying, why don't we tweak? Hold on. But there is a Facebook page of sort of creative types. I take it that they're marketing people and graphic design people who have been vicious in their criticism of this logo, that it doesn't look professional, it doesn't look well done. I mean, I don't know. I just know that I don't like the color, I don't like it, but you're going to see it all over the place in March.
I like it. I don't like the spending on it. I don't know why we need another logo, but in fact, I think it's sort of a doodle, but it's kind of a nice doodle.
Yeah, okay. You're going to see it.
Anyway, do you support the money? Do you support the money that they're spending? The $200,000 at the last minute?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good move.
So you don't like the logo and you don't like the spending?
Particularly in the context of the budget season that we're in, but that's, I mean, maybe that's not really a fair thing to say, because if this was happening in June or July, no one would be talking about the budget.
So, just to be clear, you don't like the logo, you don't like the spending?
Yes and yes. Yes, I don't like it, and yes, I don't.
So you've become one of those nattering nabobs of negativism that we've heard so much about in the media.
That people are getting sick of.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but I don't like it, but I will say that the backdrop of all that, maybe what makes it a little more unpalatable is the budget, which we're now really getting into.
Is this what they call a segue?
This is what they call a segue. So
very
try
good.
to follow me. Yeah, I don't
know why people wouldn't like you, Pat.
I think it's you.
Oh, it's me. It's me then. Okay.
But if you I'm still getting really, what's the word I'm looking for? Acquainted with the particulars of the 2013 budget and what's on the chopping block.
You mean you just started opening the pages?
Yeah, and we've got a piece going on Saturday, actually, in the Free Press, which is going to be very, not a lot of words and a lot of graphics, just showing people what's on the chopping block. Right now, to keep things at the 2012 level, they need basically $20 million in new revenue, which is to say 4.3% tax hike.
Will this be another one of your insightful pieces?
Yeah.
Good. Looking forward to it.
No, it won't be, but it'll be really graphic heavy. But you go from... Why are you busting my chops so much today?
I'm not.
But you go from...
So you got promotion, isn't it?
Yeah, so you got 4.3%, and then you got to get to 0. And there are several services that are on the chopping block, and we'll delineate those and focus on those in that piece. But I wondered if you have any thoughts on anything that's on the chopping block that's particularly standing out in your mind, because there's one that really stands out in my mind as an impossibility. Just no way they can. There's no way that they can cut the public housing budget by
$1 million.
It's $481,000, and included in that is an end of summer recreation programs for underprivileged children ages 5 to 12 who live in those public housing in the city. To me, it doesn't matter your ideology, it doesn't matter your allegiance on council. I cannot see that being approved, and that's a fairly significant number. I mean, $500,000 when you're talking about a $20 million gap.
But an awful lot of the cuts are coming off the backs of people, the less advantaged in this community. Everything from accessibility to public transit There's a great raft of things: affordable housing, libraries being closed, swimming pools, free access to these facilities. An awful lot of the cuts, and the mayor doesn't like that word cuts, but people who rely on the city to help deal with issues and to help deal with folks that don't have an awful lot. These are cuts.
Yeah, and I'm sort of getting sick of saying, oh, another challenge to Joe Fontana's control of council, but it does seem like any votes that are going to be about these things, you got the no bike lanes for 10 years, sort of a nebulous $2.5 million cut to the fire department. I'm not sure what that's going to be. Scuttling the green bin program. Again, I go back to the rec programs.
Possible layoffs of 53 police officers included?
Yeah, I think that's. I'm not sure that that's part of the earmarked cuts, though. But that could be afoot also. But I go back to that rec program for the underprivileged kids. I just can't see some of these getting those 8 votes. And in particular, I know there's at least one member of the traditional Fontana 8 who says these are severe cuts. They can't support it, and they can't. And I'm just working on that story today, and they can't. They're not very confident that they see a tax freeze coming. So again, I guess I'm sort of learning not to doubt Joe Fontana's ability to marshal the support that he needs. But this is the latest.
He's wily.
Oh, he's absolutely. But this is sort of the latest challenge to that. So, to me, I do not see how we're going to get anywhere near a tax freeze. I just don't see it.
No, I can see at the end of the day. I mean, you've got all that other stuff, the add-ins, in order to achieve some of these economic prosperity goals. There's an awful lot of pressure. You can't have a tax freeze and march forward, as I've said repeatedly, in terms of economic initiatives to try to get additional assessment out there. I think at the end of the day, we're going to see a % or 2 in terms of the tax increase.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we had a similar conversations people had last year about the tax freeze. We certainly said the same thing during the effort to sort of encourage the mayor to step aside amid his criminal charges, that he wasn't going to be able to hold on to office. I've sort of given up trying to predict how this will go. Again, I'm saying I don't see how he can marshal the support to get the tax freeze he wants, but this is a guy who's done lots of things I didn't think he could do. So
how many at these sessions about the budget on Saturday and then on Monday or Tuesday night, how many people have been coming forward at these sessions to have their input on the budget and have said, yes, stick with 0?
None that I've seen, but that doesn't surprise me, though. I mean, people don't come. Well, maybe it should. Maybe that should say something. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know what that says. Maybe it's the silent majority that stays home. But all we're hearing is, don't cut this, don't cut that. This is precious. That's precious. There's a lot of pressure on this council. You're quite right. They've got a target of 0% they've set for themselves. They have a lot of public pressure in terms of, no, not my cut, not this, not that, and then the realities of some of their own initiatives that they want to pursue. So this is going to be a very interesting few weeks, and I agree with you. It's hard to predict.
Here's a theory, and I'll run this by you. The mayor, given the criminal charges, and irrespective of how that ends up, looking less and less likely like a successful bid for a re-election is possible. That's not to say it won't be, but it looks less likely than it would have 6 months ago or a year ago. Why not go for broke now to get your 2 tax freezes? Why not call in the $70 million IOU from London Hydro that the city has? And I won't get into the particulars of what that is, but it's money that's sort of sitting there, and it does produce interest every year, which is a very valuable thing. But why not call that in so you've got all this pot of money, and then you can achieve your tax freeze this year. You can do it next year. Damn the torpedoes! I'm out of here in 2014. You guys worry about it. Just to me.
And traditionally, we've seen over the course of history, and I think it was the Urban League that pointed that out in their presentation, that after a period of restraint where they really don't have tax increases, what can happen is that the piper it comes. You have to pay the piper later, if not now, and that there could potentially be some significant tax increases after this 4-year term is up.
Yeah,
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think it's wise to assume that the mayor can't marshal the support to do it, given his track record of marshaling support to do things that seemed impossible, at least on a few occasions at this term. But to me, it doesn't. I'll predict now they won't get anywhere near it, and we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll see.
Whatever that is, it's February 28th. So what's 28th. That? 6 weeks from now?
About, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and on behalf of Chip and myself, take care, and we'll see you next time at lfpress.com.